Well, in December 1992, I went to bed at 4 a.m. About 4 or 5 hours later, I heard banging on my door, and it was my neighbors banging on the door and calling me. I opened my eyes, and the dog was standing over me, and he was like a nervous wreck. And I looked around, and all of a sudden I saw things floating around my house, and I said, well, I know that's not the water heater breaking because it was too much water. And when I realized everybody was yelling, I said, oh, we're flooding, but I didn't know exactly what happened. So I had my son, Peter, in the other room. He was an infant at the time. He was still in his crib. Thank God I still had the mattress on the highest level, because he would have been underwater if I didn't get him out of there. So I grabbed him, and I got my bag, and I went through hip-deep water to get to the front door, and went out of the house. And there was a fireman out in the street, and his water was up to his waist, and he grabbed us, and we waded through the water all the way up Guyan Avenue, up a couple of streets from Mill, and the fireman took us onto the fire truck and let us sit there for a while. Then they had to go somewhere else. So these guys that were in there with me, they had a truck or a car or something, and they said that they would give me a ride to my father's house. He lived up above Amboy Road. So they drove us up there, and you know, I went into my father's house and waited there because there was nobody home. So I went in, you know, I had a key, so I went in the house, and we just waited there until my father came home.
1992, they said they were going to build a berm. They built a little berm, and it washed away since 92. That would have helped the storm. That would have saved some houses. It might have saved lives if they had the proper berm. But they didn't. The people died here. 92, no one died. And now people died. But there was no berm either, you know.
We had to stay, the water in the house was up to my waist, so we had to be out of the house. We were out of the house for about 8 months while friends of ours who did construction went and refixed the house for us.
You know, they put the same stuff on the news, and it wasn't that bad, so we just evacuated just in case. Didn't expect the house to get destroyed though.
But a lot of our neighbors didn't leave because they thought it was going to be, you know, not as bad or similar to Irene, where people would leave and then it turned out nothing happened. But some people didn't leave, and they ended up having to go up into their attics and wait out the storm. And some of those people, after they left in the morning and finally got out of their house and the houses fell over, the water seemed to be keeping it up. This time it was a lot more destructive. It you know, took everything that was in the house, whereas before it was only like whatever was at the level that the water reached.
In the meantime, I'm going to fix up a little bit.
Yeah.
A little at a time.
The government's giving you money for it?
No.
Oh?
No.
Really? What about insurance, or?
I got some insurance money.
Some?
Some, yeah.
Well, we got the FEMA assistance, and, you know, they were around the neighborhood a lot, giving out, you know, the hammocks and the heated blankets, because when you first move back in, if you move back in, you have no heat, no electricity, no walls, so it's bad freezing. So the government, they were good, you know, they were pretty good. Thought they reacted good. Like the damages were a lot more than FEMA gave out. 30,000. I don't know if anyone knows that. 30,000 is the most you can get for a house, and that was with all the stuff and the damage to the house. That was a lot more than $30,000 worth of damage. But I guess they did what they could.
We had to take in an SBA loan, and we paid that back.
He doesn't like the interview process.
And they're offering the SBA loans out now too. We just haven't taken it yet because we don't know.
Waiting to see if they'd buy us
they
out.
gotta
In
buy us out,
92,
because
we were hoping that they would let us raise the house, but at that time, they weren't allowing that. Now
Exactly.
they're looking to either let us raise under new regulations or
Knocking that whole area out.
let us be bought out and let the, let it go back to nature, because it was like the swamps and the high grasses that protected the rest of the, the people who live up further from the beach. It was part of the Blue Belt, so, or they may make it a park, if they decide, if everybody, if the government allows it and they decide that they're gonna buy us all out.
Flood insurance is way too high for us to pay it. It's ridiculously high because we're so close to the beach that we're too high risk. It would be too much money for flood insurance. But I think since this happened, FEMA's going to pay for 2 years worth of it or something. I'm pretty sure.
Part of the Methodist Church.
New York?
Yeah. Yeah, we spent a lot of time gutting houses. Yeah.
A lot of work.
Yep. Yeah.
You don't know what we're doing. All us people, we don't know what we're doing. We don't know if we should fix up, wait for the buyout, how long the buyout's going to take. We don't know what's what. We got no place to go for information. Everybody would like to buy out if they get the right amount of money, but we don't know how much we're going to get.
Well, my one friend lived in Newport Beach, and he's real close to the water, so he evacuated to his uncle's house, which is just a few blocks away, but further from the beach. And that house started filling up with water, so my friend and his father had to run out of the house, and they ran out in the water, like, while the current's coming, and they reached another person's house who let them in, a stranger who let them into their house, and their house was destroyed, and so they went to Long Island to stay there for a while. My friend's dad ended up dying from the effects of the hurricane because he had to run through water. He's an overweight guy. Like it killed him less than a month later. Even if they say Hurricane Sandy didn't kill him, if he's not in the statistics, he should be, because it did. And now his son, my friend, has no father, no house. He sometimes stays with his uncle. His mother lives in Long Island. He stays with her sometimes. But he's the roughest case that I know of, out of my personal friends.